This podcast is for general information only. It is not intended as a substitute for general healthcare services. If you have medical conditions, you need to see your doctor. Use of this information is at the user's own risk. Welcome to FitRx with Dr. Greg Dennis. Join me as we challenge the standard sick model of healthcare. This is your source for everything health, wellness, prevention, fitness, biohacking, and more. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of FitRx. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Dennis. So for all you ladies who listen, who are interested in just decreasing body fat, getting into better shape, I think you're going to really enjoy this episode. My guest is Alyson Hensel, who is a female bodybuilding competitor who does figure competitions. I've had a little bit of bodybuilding here on the past. They've been men. I think you'll enjoy from a female perspective. How I found her was on a Facebook group page that's 50 plus bodybuilding competitors, and just happened to see a picture of a before and after. The before, and I'll let her kind of expand on this, but the before being when she was more of a runner, and then kind of made that transition into bodybuilding, and the transformation was very impressive. And so it caught my eye, and I reached out to her, and so she's gracious enough to kind of tell her story and be here with us today. And so even if you're not interested in bodybuilding and getting on the stage, I always think just hearing from people who do this and learning what they do in their lifestyle can translate over to just kind of normal people who just want to lose weight and get in better shape. So I'm sure she's gonna give us a lot of good information. And so anyways, Alyson, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Dr. Dennis.
Well, all right. I guess talk about, if you will, take us through kind of your history of general wellness and fitness, and when was it of the picture that I saw, I guess that back when you were I guess kind of a runner, and then just start there, and then we'll kind of get into how you got into bodybuilding.
Okay, sure. So the picture that you saw of me in the Facebook group, the picture of me on the left of me running, that was my very first 5K race that happened in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It was the Packers 5K. I set to reach that goal, and I trained through a fitness app from couch to 5K. And I took about 3 months to train, and I completed that race. And back then, when I was running, I really knew nothing about weight training, nothing about going into the gym and appropriately lifting weights to put on muscle mass. Weights, frankly, they scared me. So I was more of the cardio junkie type, where I would go into the gym, get on the elliptical, get on the treadmill, and just, run outdoors. That pretty much consisted of my workout regime. And I really didn't have a lot of knowledge about how diet positively impacts fitness and vice versa. So I was kind of just going through the motions with eating what I thought was healthy, not really mindful of my portion sizes. And just going from there, I started to slowly clean up my diet, not transitioning over to weight training until several years later, when I made the move back to the East Coast in Massachusetts. I found a trainer who was going through massage therapy school, and he was looking for clients to practice on. So I went to his facility, and it also happened to be his gym that he owned. He was a trainer at the time. He still is. And after I signed on for my first massage session with him, I made the decision that day, and this was in 2020, I believe, that I wanted to learn bodybuilding and weightlifting. So I started training with him, And I noticed amazing results within months of training. And December of 2020, and this was all through the pandemic, so we were virtually training. So I got in one session with him in the gym, and the gyms shut down immediately. So we did Saturday morning training sessions from my living room. And I started with very lightweight, a yoga mat. We did virtual training, and 8-pound weights, I think, was my max that I was lifting at the time. And with consistency, I started to see some results, even with lightweight and getting my nutrition balanced. And then when the gyms reopened in the following year, I ended up getting back into the gym. I ended up getting under heavier weights, being consistent 3 days a week, training with him, doing at-home workouts, dialing in my nutrition even more. And I was seeing six-pack developing. My biceps were looking good. I was leaning out, looking really good. So I decided that I wanted to enter into my first bikini competition. So after the holidays, January of 2021 is when I started prep for my very first show, which took place May of 2021. It was my first bikini competition with the OCB Federation, which is an all-natural bodybuilding federation. I started out on my own prep diet and realized I was under eating. I was losing weight quickly and probably losing some muscle mass along with that. So I ended up reaching out to a friend of mine who is also a bodybuilder, and she had been in the journey of bodybuilding and competing for quite a long time, and I had been following her journey and was very inspired by her. So I reached out to her to see if maybe she could help me with getting on track with competition diet and help me out to maintain my muscle mass, even grow a little more, and not be so hungry and eating into muscle. So February of 21, she got me on my first nutrition plan in prep for competition. And I've been working with her ever since. She's a dear friend. She has helped me through so much. She's taught me a lot about nutrition, about the world of bodybuilding, the importance of eating enough to reach your goals. And we work really, really well together. She's one of my closest friends. So
Yeah,
I've
very.
4 competitions now with her.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. I didn't realize this was so new to you. The fact that you have just been doing this in the last couple of years, that's impressive. And so that was a great kind of summary. I definitely want to get into some specifics of all that, but tell me about your kind of fitness, in your 20s and 30s. I will add for the audience. I believe you told me you're 49 now. Is that correct?
I am 49, 50.
Yeah. And so that just makes it that much more impressive, for people to know that they can change their body even, at this age. But what was your fitness level like? What did you do in like your 30s and 40s?
30s and early 40s were spent doing cardio kickboxing, a lot of the step aerobics classes when that was all the rage. Not really anything with weight training. I knew nothing about it. Weight scared me. So I really was just a cardio based fitness type person. I'd go for walks outside. I didn't really take up running until 2015 when I ran my first race. I've been an athlete all my life, growing up, having played youth sports, soccer, softball. I was a competitive gymnast going through high school. I also took up dance from the age of 3. So I've been on the stage. I've had sports and competitiveness within me my whole life, just not to where I'm at now with getting on stage. But I basically, my whole life was spent doing cardio up until 2020 when I made the transition over to bodybuilding and weightlifting.
Okay. What was your diet like when you were doing the cardio stuff? Like when you trained for your 5K, what kind of stuff were you eating?
A lot of processed food. a lot of boxed foods, not a lot of wholesome foods. I mean, I would get in my fruits and vegetables and, lean meats here and there, some protein shakes, but nothing consistent. A lot of takeout, pizza on Friday nights, cooking, pasta, a lot of pasta with meatballs and, boxed dishes, meals, things like that. Things
Yeah.
that really I don't even touch anymore. I just can't fathom eating that way anymore.
One of the things that that caught my attention from your pictures, because I tell people all the time that because I see this so often, that when people want to get in shape and they want to try to lose weight or lose body fat, for whatever reason, the first thing they think of a lot of times is cardio. Sometimes even long distance cardio, like running, like training for a 5K or a 10K, or they'll say, I want to do I want to train for a half marathon. And I tell people that's great if you just really enjoy running and you just want to do a half marathon or a marathon to scratch that off your bucket list. And it's certainly better than sitting on the couch doing nothing. However, if your goal is to get as shredded as possible, and then that's certainly not at the top of the list of doing long-term cardio, and you have to add in weights and do it a little differently if your goal is to lower body fat as much as possible. And so I just think that's kind of a misconception a lot of people have, is that if they just go and run and do cardio, and a lot of those people are eating kind of pretty high carbohydrates, processed foods, as you mentioned, and they're just not getting the results that they desire. And so I guess for you, when you were doing that, and this was just a few years ago, what made you start thinking differently? What made you start thinking about weights, and what was that kind of switch that flipped for you to think, okay, I got to do something different if I really want to start dropping this body fat? Take us through that.
Right. So I just noticed a pattern with doing cardio. I really was not leaning out. I wasn't really losing a lot of weight. I wasn't really changing my diet either at the same time. And I was just ready for a change. I felt like, just because I'm getting older doesn't mean age has to define who I am. I don't want to fit into the mold of society where, oh, I'm going to be 50 in so many years and, I'm going to look it, or, it's going to limit my ability to go after goals and dreams. It was quite the opposite. I wanted to see how far I could push myself and what I could achieve. I mean, I did have the goal back in 2016. I did declare to some friends at a training that I eventually had a goal to get on stage and compete in my first bodybuilding competition. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know the path I would take to get there, but the universe works in mysterious ways, and it brought people into my life who were meant to be there at the time that it was needed, and everything fell into place. And, years later, I got onto the stage for the first time and checked that off my bucket list as one of my goals. And I just felt that I had more within me. There was something more. I just felt it within that cardio. It's fun, but it's not getting me the results that I want. And always having somewhat of an athletic build, I knew that I could achieve more. So I went after it, and just never looking back. It's amazing what the body is capable of accomplishing when you put in the dedication, the consistency, and the time working on nutrition and the resistance training at the same time.
So you got introduced to this with a trainer. You were doing it virtual, so started doing a little bit of weightlifting, started noticing some difference. That encouraged you to kind of keep going, keep doing more. And then you said you did your first competition, and it just kind of went from there, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So let's talk about, specific training. Looking at your pictures and you on stage, I mean, your body fat was incredibly low. So take us through, I guess, just a little bit about your routine. First, let's talk about the weightlifting side of it. Talk about what you do now. What does that look like throughout the week? I mean, I'm sure you still do a little bit of cardio, to get that shredded, but just talk about, when you first started and learning that, and just kind of how that has evolved, what you're doing now as far as specific type of workouts.
So during the competition prep, I was incorporating cardio, but it was steady state cardio, keeping my heart rate within the fat burning zone. And that was always post either fasted or post weight training. It is a higher intensity of incorporating cardio into the competition prep to shred down body fat for sure, in combination with diet and with the weightlifting. So the last 2 weeks of my last prep, I was up to about 90 minutes of steady state cardio a day. So I would be up at 4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
and I would do 50 minutes of steady state cardio, keeping my heart rate within that fat burning zone. And then I would eat, then go and work. And then after work, do some weight training and then finish up with another 40 minutes of cardio to shred down to that low body fat to get stage ready. But right now, off season, where I'm building and I'm working on putting on more size for my next show, which will be in another year from now, I am still doing cardio. It's 5 days a week, 30 minutes each session. And I am weight training 5 days a week. I work 2 days a week with my trainer, and we do legs on one of those nights. And then we alternate body parts each week. And I am also in the gym working out on my own the other 3 days of the week with one active rest day a week, and then one total rest day a week, which is Sunday. So I am active 5 out of the 7 days or 6 out of the 7 days a week. And I'm also very clean with my nutrition 90% of the week. I am following a strict diet, but there's also balance involved. It's not an all or nothing approach for me. Like, I'll have my burger and fries on Saturday night with a couple of drinks just to enjoy. And that gives me something to look forward to at the end of each week after working really hard in the gym, training, eating clean all week.
Yeah, so let's dive into that a little bit, because I mean, I've just barely dipped my toe a little bit in the bodybuilding world, but certainly have a lot of friends that have done shows. To me, it's the diet that prevents most people from getting this ripped and doing this kind of lifestyle. I mean, especially men, they don't mind going to the gym and they'll put in the work at the gym. I feel like most people will not, do the necessary diet. And it is difficult. I mean, I will admit. So talk about what that looks like for you, especially when you first started doing all this, how your diet changed from when you were doing, a lot more cardio, and, what that was like, and then just what your typical diet looks like now today.
So in going back to my cardio days when I was running, it was a lot, like I said before, it was a lot of processed foods, takeout foods, going out to restaurants more often, not really prepping food at home, not having a plan, just reaching for something when I was hungry, still eating some healthy foods, but not anywhere near to the caliber that I'm eating right now. And then when I made the switch over to bodybuilding in 2020 and got really serious about changing my body composition, I became more mindful of what I was putting into my body and realizing that if I don't get my nutrition straight, I'm not going to get results. So as soon as I made that flip to meal prep and, planning ahead for success, getting all of my lean proteins, my vegetables, my healthy fats, balancing all of that out, then I started to really see some results in the gym. So nutrition really is vital. If you don't have your nutrition dialed in, you really won't see the results that you could see if your nutrition was on point. So my diet now consists of whole foods, nothing processed. I cook everything from scratch. I eat a diet high in lean meats, like 93.7 turkey. I'll do 92% lean beef, a lot of broccoli. I'll do jasmine rice, sweet potatoes, egg whites, natural oats, avocado, a lot of extra virgin olive oil is within my diet, natural peanut butter. So I've completely transformed the way I eat. And I've also changed my relationship with food too. And I do have a history of emotional eating, and I've gotten a hold of that and have really come to terms with food as not a punishment or something that is good or bad in that sense, but I use it as fuel. I look at it as fuel. Like if you're setting off to take a road trip, you have to fill your car with fuel for it to go long distance. Same thing with the body. Our body is our vehicle. It's what we use to move throughout our day, to work out. If we're not feeding it clean fuel, then we're not going to get those results in the gym. So I've completely transformed my mindset from eating whatever I want and working out, thinking I'm being healthy, to actually doing the work that it takes to live this healthy lifestyle. And that is consistency. It's eating on plan, like 6 days out of the 7 every week, and then enjoying that one treat meal on Saturday nights. And it's worked for me. It's been an amazing balance. It's been a great journey. And I'm very much excited and looking forward to what my 50s have in store.
So do you have a certain macronutrient ratio that you shoot for, certain percentage of carbs, protein, fat?
I do. And the girl who I work with on my nutrition kind of calculates all that for me. She plans my meals for me, or I do the cooking, but she lets me know, what to eat. We do check-ins twice a week on Fridays and Mondays. I'll send in scale weight, and she'll adjust my macros and my calories according to how I'm doing. And right now I'm kind of in a maintenance phase. So I did a really great reverse out of the show in July, and we slowly started introducing calories and foods back into my diet. And now I'm in maintenance. I eat the same meals every single day, so I know exactly what to expect. And I love it. I don't deviate from it, and I feel very strong, and I'm getting amazing lifts in the gym. I'm getting stronger each week, and
Yeah.
it's just proven that it works. When you have your nutrition right, get the results in the gym.
Take us through, if you will. I'm assuming you're probably eating, small meals throughout the day. Take us through, since you pretty much eat the same thing every day, what those look like. I mean, you don't have to be real specific, but what is a breakfast,
Right.
lunch, supper? What does that look like?
Oh, I eat 6 times a day. I eat timed meals, not timed to the minute, but I'm eating at least every 3 hours throughout the day. So from the time I wake up, I'm eating my first meal. 3 hours later, the next meal, and so on until I have all 6 meals within me. I do a pre-workout meal, which consists of, whey protein shake, rice cakes. That's what I typically have right before a workout. I do my post-workout whey protein shake. Morning is egg whites with oatmeal. I do very little fruit, but I get a little bit, some blueberries in the morning, about 40 grams. And that's another thing. Portion control, it has to be exact. And I weigh and I measure everything I eat, even in off season. Nothing is guessed. Everything is to the half cup, to the ounce, to the tablespoon. Everything is portioned appropriately so that I'm within my macros. I'm eating currently about 2,200 calories a day right now. Carbs are a little over 200. I'm eating about 52 grams of fat per day and about 165 grams of protein. That's my current diet now.
And just looking at you, you don't look like you weigh anywhere close to that. So you're getting what, about 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight is what I guess, around there.
About that. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And I think that's an important point. I don't think men or women in general, especially when they're trying to get lean, I don't think most of them get enough protein. And it's hard to get that protein. I mean, it is. You've got to plan for it, exactly like what you're doing. And it sounds like you're eating whey protein, lean turkey, chicken, that fish, that kind of stuff, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay. What changes, you're off season right now. What changes specifically in the diet when, before you get on stage? Obviously your cardio is going to increase, but, and then you're probably going to back your calories off just a little bit, but what else changes within that?
Well, what else changes within the competition prep? Is that what you're asking?
Right. What changes diet wise before the
So
show?
protein is brought down because, a lot of protein can cause some bloating, and fats are reduced down to almost nothing. Carbs are also reduced down really, really low. So I'm not going to lie, it's pretty grueling when it gets towards the end of prep. I mean, it starts out pretty good, but then each week you slowly start to take a little bit of food away, cardio increases, and pretty much the 2 weeks leading up to the show, you're in a pretty deep deficit to get that body fat down to a really, really low number, and cardio is high. So it is less protein for sure, but to maintain that, the muscle mass, you don't want to lose it before getting on stage. It's just a very scientific way of going about feeding the body appropriately so that you're not cutting into muscle. So it's a fine line between, eating enough carbs, but not so much that, you're not shredding that last bit of body fat. Water count does go down somewhat, a couple of days leading up to the show. And yeah, it's amazing. The whole
Yeah.
process.
What recommendation would you give to people who are listening who hear what the type of stuff you're eating and would just say, I can't do that. I can't eat the same thing every day like that. And I'm busy. I'm on the go. I'm, chasing kids around, whatever. And of course, a lot of people, they're eating fast food. They're not planning. What is your recommendation to them? I mean, not again, people necessarily want to do bodybuilding, but just get healthier and want to drop some body fat. How can they just incorporate some of the things that you're doing?
Well, I think it all boils down to what you want out of life. Do you want to feel good, or do you want to be paying hospital bills because you're sick? It's just a matter of priority. And it doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach. A lot of people get that wrong, where they think I have to starve myself and restrict calories and do all these things to lose weight. And that's not the case at all. I'm a firm believer in balance and making small daily changes, whether that be cutting out drinking pure sugar soda. Just cutting that out alone is a lifestyle change. You'll lose weight just getting rid of all that sugar, which is toxic, right out of your system. Just incorporating more wholesome foods. It doesn't have to be gourmet meals. Just getting in some movement every day. It doesn't have to be weightlifting. Get outside, go for a walk. It doesn't have to be high intensity training, but just move your body every day in some capacity to stay, mobile, to just get your cardiovascular health in check, and just start eating more wholesome foods, vegetables, incorporate lean proteins, and just those small daily changes make that a habit. And then after you break bad habits, it takes about 3 weeks to break bad habits, 90 days to make a lifestyle change. Before you know it, you'll start to see a difference in your body. You'll start to feel better. You'll have more energy. And then that might motivate you to take the next step in your fitness journey. Really, anybody can do it. If I can do it, going from being a runner, 160 pounds, to, a bodybuilder, changing my life completely, anybody can do it. I love motivating other people, and I just love to help people feel empowered. And as a personal trainer and a nutrition coach, that's my job, is to lead the way for others and show them what is possible when you get on the other side of your fears.
Yeah, very nice. How do you, I guess, resist the day-to-day temptations? You said you have one cheat meal a week, but day to day, if you're somewhere and there's chips and brownies and you go to a birthday party and there's ice cream, how do you resist all that?
It's taken me a long time. A lover of the sweets. I do have a sweet tooth. Not gonna lie there. I stay within the mindset that if I eat that, is that going to help me achieve my goals? Because what I do off season directly impacts my next competition. So people might not look at it that way. Like they may think that, oh, your competition is over. You can eat whatever you want, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. The more
Mhm.
behaved you are and more disciplined you are off season, going into the next prep for your next show, the better off you're going to be, the less cardio you're going to have to do. So the better shape you are going into that next prep, the better results you will achieve. And I am going for my pro card for my next show in 2024. The year I turn 50, I am declaring it right now.
All
I'm
right.
getting the pro card.
I was just going to ask you what your future goals are in the bodybuilding world. So,
Future goals is to become a pro figure competitor. And I want to go on to compete at the pro level. That's my next.
very nice. All right. So talk briefly, if you will, what would you say? Because a lot of women, as you mentioned, are just kind of scared of weights.
Correct.
And they will say, well, I don't want to bulk up, and or they just don't know what to do. And talk about that, if you will. What would you say to women who just want to get started and just don't know what to do there?
Well, I, like most women out there, also had that same fear, thinking, oh, if I pick up weights, I'm going to bulk up and look like a man. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. I've never looked better. I've never felt better than I do now with weight training. It's impossible to bulk like a man unless, number one, you're taking steroids. And number two, lifting massive, massive weight. And it takes a lot of food to be able to put on that much muscle to look that masculine. So unless you're doing all of those things, I would not let weight scare you. I would just honestly hire a trainer. I wouldn't go about it on your own if you've never lifted weights, if you don't know anything about weight training. Hire a reputable trainer and work with someone who knows about bodybuilding. That's my advice. And that's exactly what I did. And it was the best decision I've ever made. So just going forward, keep moving, get into the gym. Resistance training has been known to help build bone density in women, especially with osteoporosis. As we age and get older, we want to strengthen those bones and we want to just feel good and look good. It's more, not so much about the aesthetics, which is a positive side effect of the weight training. It's just feeling good. And when you're feeling good and your confidence level is up, you can accomplish anything you set out to do. It's just such an amazing lifestyle. I can't speak highly enough about it.
Well, how can people find you? And I know you're on Facebook. Are you on Instagram? How can people just kind of follow you?
I am on Instagram. My handle is South Shore Fit Mom. And I also have another Instagram, Heart First Fitness. I am NCSF certified personal trainer and sport nutrition coach. And I also work at Momentum Custom Fitness. It is a gym in Hingham, Massachusetts. We've got a wonderful team of people there who can also help you to train and transform your body and your mindset. I do nutrition coaching for them and independently as well. So I would love some follows. And if anybody has any questions or wants to reach out, if you have nutrition questions or anything with bodybuilding, I would love to talk with you and help you get started on your journey.
Well, very nice. And I would, excuse me, I would encourage people to just, look at your sites just to see you and your transformations, and especially when you're on stage and, the body fat is you're super low. And anyway, it's pretty impressive. So congratulations to you and your journey. Wish you lots of luck in the future. And just appreciate you sharing your story and insights with us today. And I guess as we wrap up here, as my guests know, or as the listeners know, rather, I'm always ask my guest if they would give us one health tip that could make us healthier today. What would you say to that?
I would say to them, anything is possible. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. Get moving every day and just start eating a healthier diet. Get rid of the processed food. Processed food is toxic. It's poison. It's no good for our body. And how you treat your body is how it's going to treat you back. You put clean food in your body, it's going to give you great results and great energy. If you're eating fast food every day, you're not going to feel good. And, risk for disease goes up much higher. So my advice is, if you want to live a long, healthy life, get moving and get eating clean.
Very nice. Great advice. So, well, okay. Miss Alyson Hensel, certainly appreciate your time and appreciate everyone listening. Hope you got something out of this, and we will talk to you next time.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Fit RX. I invite you to share this with friends and family. If you would like, you can check out our website at vibrantlifedc.com, or you can email me at drgreg@vibrantlifedc.com.